Welcome to the Trash Cats Trash Cast. I'm Richard.
I'm Steven.
And today we got a lot of bullshit to talk about.
A lot of bullshit be going on.
How's your week been?
It's been okay. Just kind of on the same grind, trying to get some shit done. I have some thoughts about that I wanted to throw at you later, but doing okay. How's your week?
Good. I actually, summer started. I've been working a lot more.
Yeah.
I had Monday off, and I slept for 10 hours, woke up, and then fell back asleep for another 2.
Good old double donk.
A good double donk. It's necessary. You know those moments when you're sleeping and like you wake up and you still feel like I could stay here all day long and it would just feel incredible. Like I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet because I haven't moved in years. It'd be so incredible.
Dude, I absolutely know that feeling. I'm getting myself in a weird position because I've always had like pretty severe insomnia, and normally for most of my adult life I've only been able to keep a job for like half of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm a working man. I'm a big career boy, mm-hmm. And my sleep schedule is not any better, so I'm just on a permanent 3 hours of sleep, 4 hours of sleep a night, and it's pretty ragged.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked. It's pretty extremely bad for you.
I think so, but I'm also so used to it. Like, I don't really feel sleepy. I just feel like kind of mentally drained, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. That's way better. As long as you're not sleepy. Just completely mentally exhausted.
Yeah, What else is new, though? It's like every adult's problem,
Yeah, there's never enough time to sleep. Work sucks.
It's hard to complain about.
Food's expensive.
Yeah. But I also feel like people don't understand what, because everyone's tired, but I feel like people who don't have sleep disorders, have no idea what not having sleep constantly is like. Yeah,
that's probably very true. That's the... I guess there's also a level of what you're used to. So
mm-hmm.
It might, someone who usually gets their full 8 hours of sleep or whatever, and then they don't for a few days in a row.
They get so crabby. They're like little babies.
Yeah.
I didn't get 8 hours.
the equivalent would be like if you got an hour and a half of sleep.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
For a few days, you'd be an absolute nightmare.
And if I go past 48 hours no sleep, I used to be able to handle it, and I would only go a little crazy. Now,
just a little crazy.
Now if I go 48 hours, I'm full-blown psychotic. It gets wild quick. Can't do it the same way I used to.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
You gotta push the limits now and again.
You gotta push the limits. Just test my resolve.
All right, so we got a cool article, but we're kind of doing our freestyle shtick, whatever. What have you been thinking about this week? Do you have any reoccurring thoughts? Or are you just busy as fuck?
It's mostly been work. I mean, that's kind of usual anyways, but more now than ever.
Well, I have a spin off of overworking. If there's not any emotional or reoccurring themes or arcs going through your head this week.
I'll give you one reoccurring theme is we're planning on getting this stray cat that's in the neighborhood.
How many are you up to though?
I mean, I'm not going to keep
honest.
them. I'm not keeping this one.
How many cats are in your house right now? There are. This is cat lull time, okay? You've entered Judge Stevie's court, okay?
So there are 6 cats in this household.
That's 4 too many.
There's only 1 on my side and 5 on my mother's.
Yes.
So that being said...
You guys are very kind. The goal is to get these cats houses, right?
Yeah. Well, my mom's keeping the 5. She's not
all of them.
Yeah. No.
Holy shit.
Yeah. She had the 2, and then the stray we took in had the babies, and we couldn't we couldn't find homes for them, and then we got 2 attached for them, and we got a home for one of them. It's a friend of ours. And she decided to keep her. We were planning on keeping Vanessa, but she doesn't get along with any of our cats, so it didn't work.
You can't take any more cats.
No.
I'm cursing your house if another cat crosses the threshold, they'll just explode.
Okay. we're taking this one and we're gonna get him cleaned up and get him to a vet. He deserves to be in a good home, but we can't.
Is it a neighborhood one?
Yeah, started coming around almost a year ago. Big, like, definitely got some Maine Coon in him because he's real big and he's got like real long, pretty hair, and he's such a sweet cat. He's like, from day one started coming by, and like we were talking about just how pretty he is and how like nice his fur looked, and like obviously someone's taking care of him because we tried to give him food and he was like not interested.
Wasn't the good stuff.
Yeah. So eventually he started coming around a little more often, and we noticed like he just wasn't, his fur's a little dirtier, and he would eat food. He doesn't like, I don't think he relies on the food that we put out on the back porch, but he is around all the time. He sleeps in the garage a lot, and
he sounds like a real lazy piece of shit.
Yeah, he looks like shit. He looks real bad. So we're gonna like get him and try to clean him up and see if we can like post him on one of the. We're gonna keep him in the basement for a little bit and see if we can post him on one of the shelter websites.
All right, this gives me something to go with. Okay, I'm feeling a little aggravated already. Okay,
right.
So Sarah, my lovely girlfriend, she has this habit of trying to save stray animals, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like last year, she shows up to my family does Sunday dinner bullshit. She shows up with a turtle. Mm-hmm. Right, because she didn't want to run over the turtle in the middle of the street. So we have to save the turtle, put it in a pond. Last week, showing up to dinner, we leave the house together, but we're in separate vehicles. We're meeting up the same place 5 minutes away. When she gets there, she has 2 dogs in her car.
Oh my God!
I'm like, what the fuck just happened? She's like, they were running in the street and didn't want me to get hit. So she just lets stray dogs in her car. And apparently there's a big dog virus going around in Cincinnati. It's really bad. So no pounds are accepting dogs anymore.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's been this way for like over 6 months. Apparently they only have 1 dog catcher left for the whole city. The dog, what the fuck was he called? The dog, not the Wrangler. He had his own
dog
term.
Wrangler.
The dog,
dog the bounty hunter.
Oh, it was funny too. It was such a like goofy throwaway title. But so he's the only one that can accept dogs for the whole city. So they said we had to keep the dog till they showed up.
Oh no.
And then I'm like, you legally can't force someone to have a dog. Like you can't force me into dog ownership. But I thought that idea was very funny. So somehow my brother, he thought he had someone who would take the dog. They flaked on him. So my brother is stuck with this dog for like 2 weeks.
Oh, no.
But here's where I'll diverge from maybe where you and Sarah would draw the line. And it's interesting because I know John probably feels the same way I do. And he's the vegan one, right? Mm-hmm. And I am animal tattooed across my chest. And I fucking love animals. But there's no fucking chance I ever am going to stop for a stray dog or bathe a neighborhood cat. Never. It never would occur to me that it would be like I'll feed them, I'll spend quality time with them, I'll like love them and wish them the best. But I'm never gonna take, I don't know, any time out of my life to try to rehabilitate an outdoor animal.
The stray dog thing, I feel like that's a little different, at least in my experience with the cats. Like the cats come up and they like hang around your house and like they become regular. They come and they go all the time.
You can't feed them.
Well, we choose to. It's
every now and again. But
we always have food on the back porch.
Haven't you watched Lion King?
Yes.
This is Hakuna Matata. This is the circle of life. You let them.
And they take care of the rats too, but because we don't have any. But they
it's a dubious claim. I'll let it slide.
It is a logical fallacy, but it does stand to reason that we have a bunch of stray cats in the neighborhood and no rats or mice that come through and fuck shit up. The difference with the cats is because they're around all the time, you learn to like recognize them and you like see there's like a kinship there of like, I recognize you. I know who you are. And when you have the ones, like I wouldn't do it with all of them, but with the ones that are like really sweet and like come up to you and like rub up on your leg and they're not like just see you and bolt. Those ones are like, okay, maybe I could. And like for this one, for sure, like he's a super cool fucking cat. So I am more than happy to brush all the mud and shit out of his fur.
It's very sweet of you. And I've had like my friendships with lots of strays over the years, but I don't know if I'm just like becoming increasingly bitter with age or I've started to think maybe I'm very empathetic because I can feel what things are like and I can relate or see perspectives, but I've lost like all sympathy because I would just let that dog get run over in traffic before I do anything.
Right.
Like, I don't want that to happen. I would try to avoid it, but I'm not taking it into my home.
Yeah. No, I feel you on that. Especially a dog is a lot of fucking responsibility.
But I don't think
like a cat, we can put a fucking cat in our basement and it'll be, with a litter box and a bowl of food and water, it'll be fine. Like a dog, if you're not down there with it, it could really fuck shit up. And it can be a lot more dangerous if it like doesn't want you to be around it and shit. Like,
I just figure I have enough trouble taking care of myself. I can't.
And that's also very fair. Like if you have other priorities and shit, then like, yeah, don't do it. That's like,
it's just a lot. I always think it's awesome. And I've definitely taken in animals at times, but I can't like solve the world's problems. Like There's so many, especially where I know you have the same thing. There's like, there would be an animal knocking on our back door every day. It's like, I can't stop for stray dogs because I would have a fucking van full of them.
Yeah, they'd talk to each other and tell each other, hey, this is the house you go to.
Yeah, the pound's closed. We got to go to this loser's house.
This fucking asshole.
All right, so I got like one thought that's been going through my head this week a bit.
Oh shit, breaking down doors. Steven had a thought.
Oh man, every now and again. So we played Pokemon Cage Fights last week. Super based. To me, I feel like it's super nerdy, goofy stuff, but I think part of the reason I enjoyed it as much as I did is I've been realizing more and more, like, I don't do things for fun anymore, like purely for the sake of fun.
Yeah.
And when I like reflect on all the time I was using heroin, smoking weed, whatever, like drug stuff, I was very much more fluid in the sense of being apathetic enough to just like hang out with people or do things for the experience or fun. And I don't feel that anymore. I kind of miss it a little bit.
Yeah.
But now I'm just very apathetic and serious. I'm becoming way too serious.
Yeah, that sucks. I feel like my job enables me to be in a place where having fun and doing goofy shit is encouraged.
Yeah, I'm a goof at heart. I'm a clown. But instead of like talking, I look at people's gangrene and sepsis infections all day. Dude, I saw some gnarly shit this week. This lady had like a basketball size hole in her, and it was gnarly. But I gotta look at it's interesting. I gotta look at weird stuff all day, and I gotta make my things, and I have a very lovely girlfriend. But I'm very serious. I'm not like, I still enjoy hanging out with the few people I do, but nothing comes easily, right? There's not that like fluidity of who's in the house, who's out of the house, where are we going, what are we doing type shit.
Yeah.
And I miss being more carefree like that.
There's that description. I don't think you would necessarily be this person, but I just made a comment to one of my coworkers about this type of person, and we see them all the time. It's almost always a dad or husband or boyfriend. It's always a dude, and they are with their family, and their family is excited about getting smoothies and superfruit bowls, getting something. And they're like really excited about it.
And the dad's crabby.
Yeah, and he's like, looks like, you know, he's like, nothing, I'm good. I don't need anything.
Yeah,
and it's the kind of thing of like, are you afraid if you hold this smoothie that will make you gay? Like, is that gonna be the thing that turns you? Is, you know, are you afraid of looking carefree and having fun?
Dads can't look gay in front of their family. That's a rule, dude.
That's a rule. You can't be at the zoo looking like a zoo in front of your wife and child.
Fuck no, dude.
No way.
I'm basically a grumpy dad, but all my kids are dead, and that's part of the reason I'm so serious.
I haven't felt anything since 95.
Ever since my son left, things ain't been the same.
Oh, fucking A. Yeah, no, I get.
But you have this problem too, and I don't think you realize how serious it's been in your life.
How do you mean?
Because you're a workaholic. You can't help yourself. You have not cut loose nearly as much as you would like to. You're better. You're much better at it than you used to be.
Better now for sure. And
you're recovering.
This job has been fantastic for my mental health.
Yeah.
Having time to like spend with people. But even
this
then,
podcast would not exist if you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
The idea of, I mean, even like spending time with people, this is where like I revert to the introverted tendencies of like, I'm all down with making plans to do stuff like in the moment where like I'm talking to someone like, oh yeah, we should go do this thing. It'd be fun. And then the day comes up and it's like, but I'm home right now. And like, I don't
even miss the being with people, but I miss the feeling of that freedom of like, fuck it. What are we going to do? The feeling of like just being willing or like interested or curious on like ways to play, to do things that are fun just for fun. Yeah. And I think part of that is an innocence thing. And as your responsibilities and experiences stack up, the joy or wonder type thing kind of decreases. But I miss part of that, you know?
Yeah, you do have to find, you really do have to find a way to work it in. Because like
what's fun? Like, what is fun? Because for me, all the things that are fun aren't really fun. They're serious. Like, the things I get enjoyment out of are very serious things. Like, there's not a lot of things that are fun that are, like, carefree fun. Like,
well, then maybe you need to try something new.
That's why, in part, when we do goofy podcast stuff, it's really nice. And every once in a while, I try to force myself to play video games, but I got too much serious shit to do, so I find myself being serious all the time. Or I've said it before, I don't feel like my real... Like, I am authentic when we podcast, but it's a small snapshot, because the vast majority of my time in life is a very different tone, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you on that one. I
want to goof more.
Yeah, I mean, like we can try to steer the podcast more in that direction to do that more often. And I'd be way on board with that. Just trying out weird, goofy shit. I had the thought a little while ago of something we could do, and I just remembered it. The second was, I'm not sure if you're in online enough that you know about tier lists, Steven.
Oh, I sure do. I've probably watched like 10 this week.
Yeah.
A serial killer one, and what was the other one?
You know, the one I watched probably most recently was people that were, it was cereal also, but it was cereal mascots, and how
I don't understand.
They are.
That's too goofy. I don't understand how you can enjoy that. That would make me
it's
so upset.
It's the people doing it that I like. I like their content, and they make funny content anyways. So
but
that's what makes it enjoyable.
I like that in theory, But in my day-to-day life, I'm far too serious to enjoy shit like that. And it's like a bummer. Like so much shit's ruled out because I'm very emotionally focused on shit every day. Whether it's like, I don't know.
So do you feel that you are that way because of habit?
No.
Because you've spent so much time that way, or because like that's just your natural state?
I think it's my natural state. Where like life's changed so much, right? For both of us, we're in far better positions as adults, for at least for myself, far better than I ever expected. And I feel I don't have to worry like I used to. Like every single day it was a worry on like how to get through the day. I don't have to worry like that anymore. But I still feel like I'm in a corner where I'm in a lot of ways I'm very like emotionally stable right now, but I'm still reacting to circumstances instead of dictating them as much as I would like, you know? Like I want to be making the moves, choosing where my mind and my emotions are going, opposed to dealing with circumstances I don't want to deal with as best I can. And I feel like I've gotten pretty good at dealing with where I'm at and like navigating things, but it's still not on my own terms.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, and because I've kind of gotten very hardened this way, I'm just always very serious and frustrated, while a huge part of me really is like a dumbass goof, and I'm not getting my goof outlet. My goof status is not met.
Yeah.
Not gooned up enough. You know?
I got one solution for you. I'm not saying it would work for sure, but it might help, quit your day job and come work with me. And, because it's real easy to be fucking goofy when you're selling smoothies to people. It's the stupidest fucking dad joke in the world. But when people order they start to order and say, can I have a Goldfinch smoothie? And they kind of trail off and they're thinking of something else. And then you just say, no.
Not a shot.
Like, oh, okay. And, and you all have a good laugh. And then it's like, all right.
Can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it when people do that.
Oh, but it's so funny in the moment.
It's the most non-funny service worker joke. You can't see, the thing is you can't do it all the time. You got to judge the customer. Oh, of course.
And you got to pick the right person out.
And a lot of people would like it. They think, oh, we got to laugh in type of thing. And you form a camaraderie. But if you see me looking all tough and serious in line, you think you're going to try that joke?
There's not a chance I would do that. You adjust your customer service to you adjust your customer service to the customer.
I'm feeling far too serious for that joke right now. Bro.
Yeah, like what would match that red face of anger that you have. This berry
smoothie.
Now you can match your emotions with your pink fruity drink.
Dude, I wish mood rings were legit.
Yeah.
So people would know where I'm at.
Did you see, I forget the craft site. I think it was a YouTube thing or something. Somebody made a mood ring toilet.
That sounds terrible.
It was like, why? Exactly why?
That's funny.
Just to do it.
So, how about this? Since we've been speaking about mental illness, your guillotine take.
Yeah.
It's been one of my favorites, right? Do you want to, in case anyone forgets you?
Oh, yeah, in case you haven't heard already. The idea is that if you're going to kill yourself, you do it with a guillotine that you build yourself. And by the time it takes you to finish building the guillotine from scratch, if you still want to do it, go for it.
You got the green light.
You have to learn how to do woodworking and hook up the pulley system and get the weighting right on the blade, and there's a lot of time in between.
Quality work, craftsmanship.
Yeah, you want it to be nice. You want to be proud of this guillotine.
Go it out in style.
Yeah, if you're gonna do it, fucking do it. And if you still want to go after you're done, then, by all means.
Yeah. God bless. Godspeed. Well, boy, do I have the story for you.
Oh, God.
just linked it to you. This is from April 17th, 2023. This is fresh off the presses from the New York
Jesus
Post.
Christ.
Now, these people's reason kind of sucks, but it's a good story nonetheless. And this isn't the first time, but this particular version is very unique. So, couple beheaded themselves with homemade guillotine as a sacrifice. A husband and wife from India simultaneously decapitated themselves over the weekend using an improvised guillotine rigged in such a way that their severed heads rolled directly into a fire altar as a form of human sacrifice. Which, so brutal, first off.
Yeah.
Second off, so fucking romantic. What a cool way to go with your wife. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm gonna die with my wife,
I guess, that is. There's something romantic about it.
It's cute. It's like a, like meet cute. This is die cute. So the farmer and his wife, they're like 38, 35 years old. They committed the sickening, well, that's pretty judgmental, New York Post, the sickening act sometime between Saturday and Sunday in a village in Vientiane. I'm not going to pronounce any of these words right, but I'm trying. Located in a western district of the state of Guarahart. Local police said, quote, the couple first prepared a fire altar before putting their heads under a guillotine-like mechanism held by a rope. As soon as they released the rope, an iron blade fell on them, severing their heads, which rolled into the fire.
Wow.
The couple's, this is the
oh
shitty part.
No.
The couple's two children, aged 12 and 13, found the headless torsos when they returned home from visiting their uncle in a nearby village, where they had been sent by their parents the day before. According to authorities, they found a suicide note stating that the couple had taken their own lives willingly and that no one else was to blame for their deaths. Now, I think that's a cool way to go. Obviously, the non-funny part of this article is the children, because if you kill yourself and people are relying on you like children, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
If you're a bachelor, good.
And you're looking for something fun to do on a Friday night.
So what kind of sucks, though, aside from the children, is the reasoning for it. I like the idea of if two people decided to leave this world together, I think that's romantic. More power to them. That's their choice. But when it's part of a ritual, and as we're going to see, it's tied to religious ideology, that sucks.
Yeah.
In their party note, the duo appealed to their family members to take care of their elderly parents and their two orphan children. Investigators were taking statements from relatives and trying to determine whether the twin beheadings were part of a black magic ritual, which normally is like bullshit anytime investigators look at black magic. But I would imagine it being in India and the fact that the couple worshiped the god Shiva, which is, it's Hinduism.
Yeah.
But they did this in a improvised temple devoted to Shiva that they had set up on their property. And supposedly that's what this whole fire altar was part of. So it is thought that they did this to make a human sacrifice to Shiva. And that could be untrue, but that's currently what the story is thought to be. The couple was not facing any financial hardships or relationship problems. Their note made it very clear that this was their willing choice and it's something they wanted and that they wish the best for their parents and children. But fuck, it's so brutal. It
really is. And I'm not like super versed on Hinduism, but I don't think that like sacrifice is one of the...
the thing is, and I've been in a lot of like online Muslim-y debates lately, and we spent a lot of time looking at all kinds of shit on here too. The thing is there's someone from any religion that thinks it could mean anything. I'm sure
just
there's
going to take it a little too far.
Well, I'm sure there's some old script that talks about Shiva eating the humans that were bad or some bullshit and wanting blood to water the soil, like tie it in with race realism, white identity shit in the U.S. to Hindu shit in India. To like, you can justify anything you want with whatever you want. But I think it's cool. They listened to you. They took my idea.
They listened to my advice, and they built their own. Cool.
So you're basically responsible.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to see the date that it happened. That was in April
17th.
Yeah, that kind of tracks with about the timeline of when I said that too.
And I happen to notice you're adopting cats right now. I think you could do a little bit better.
I say quote unquote cats.
Oh man,
that's really fucked up. Oh god damn it. Yeah, that's really that's really wild. That's it's one of those that you said, like, it's brutal and in the idea of, like, when you're just thinking of the idea of it, like, yeah, this is a brutal thing, and the fuck, you could write poetry about this. You could write
definitely.
Some black metal shit about it if you wanted to. But yeah, and they're 38 and 35, like, they're so young too.
Well, here, not really.
I mean,
that's kind of a platitude, right? When we say people that are older than like 19 die, we're like, oh, they're so young. They only died of 20 years of lung cancer.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, but it's like they could have potentially lived a lot longer. Is what that means. Is like it's not like they were like facing the end anyways.
But they didn't.
How do you mean?
They're dead.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's not like they were facing the end of their life. They probably had.
But they might have died the next day, hit by a bus.
Yeah, sure. By the cosmic odds, sure, anything can happen. But
I'm just saying they're not spring chickens.
Okay.
I think because some people, no matter how old they are, oh, you're only 73. They were so young.
I'm not saying it deserves more sympathy because of that. I'm saying that it is. It's like not that older than us.
Is me old?
Yes.
I don't like this. I don't like where this is.
No, actually, if anything, I'm calling you young, Stephen.
So here's the thing. I feel like we see this in like serial killer stands or fans and like heavy metal fans and stuff. I was just watching some Juggalo Gathering footage that was pretty funny.
Cool.
So here's the thing. When people are like fans of hardcore shit and they're like all about the lyrics, the music, or like following the depraved acts of some serial killer, but then when it comes down to it, they're not about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they deserve to be a fan. I feel like if you, in theory, think the idea of a couple beheading themselves together is romantic, then if there were two people in front of you doing it, you have no right to stop them. Like, my point being, I think this is only fucked up at all because there's children involved, because two tiny little people were depending on you as parents and you failed them.
Yeah.
I think that's the fucked up part. But their actions themselves, more power to them. I don't see anything wrong.
Yeah. No, I can agree with you on that. I mean, the other part that sucks about it is like you said, the religious part of it, where it's like,
yeah.
Did they do this because, if they did this because of like a weird religious belief thing that had they not been brainwashed by religion, they would not have taken that path.
You know how brutal it would be to be, like, being an atheist in the U.S. has its own challenges, but compared to a lot of places, it would be so minor. Like, being an atheist in India would be brutal.
I don't know 100%.
I happen to have just watched something about that. And I don't think it's always, like, a horrid thing, but in a lot of like small villages or like different areas, if you're the only atheist, you're fucked.
I'm gonna say because that's fair. The time I spent there was in major cities, and the people we talked to were like, most people worship, or most people are, follow Hinduism, or at least have some kind of a belief structure around that, in the way that the way they spoke of it made me think of like people that are like, they're not like Christians, but they have a religious kind of structure.
It's their flavor
based around something
Christian.
like that. Yeah. And it's definitely a big deal in the way, I know it's a big deal in the way that like there are places you can go that you can't bring, like there are places they took us to that you couldn't have meat. You couldn't like have, a turkey sandwich in your bag or whatever because it was a holy site.
Absolutely.
It's like, that would be wild in America, unless it was like private property or something. You could say that like, oh, it's like you can't bring pork into this temple or something. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. I thought, that's a whole public domain kind of thing where that's just normal.
Yeah, different culture, right?
Yeah.
I keep running into the problem. I would very much like to be more critical of non-Christian religions. And it sucks because when there's so much like racial hate tied into both American culture and in general, like criticisms of like Islam or Judaism or Hinduism, like it sucks because I want to get on the internet every day and say, fuck all Jews, fuck all Hindus, fuck all followers of Islam. Like I want to be aggressively combating something that I see as wrong, but it's really hard because it's not looked at the same as saying fuck the Christians. Yeah,
exactly. When you're going against the teaching of this cult rather than saying it, what it comes across as is you are being racist.
Yeah,
but that's a perception thing rather than what you're actually saying.
But it sucks though, because like I could post pictures of Muhammad and say fuck Islam all day, and what I would be saying is that I disagree with their religion. I think it is inherently wrong and bad, but it's only going to be looked at as Islamophobic because so many fucking people are legitimately Islamophobic.
Yeah.
We saw that with the atheist movements after 9/11 because they were still continuing to criticize the same religions they were criticizing prior, but they got roped in with all the other American bigots, and it really like fucked up a lot of their momentum. And it just sucks because I would like to be, I don't know, not that I'd like to be
openly anti-religion, regardless of where the border is.
Yeah, and to be fair to myself and to you, really, I mean, it's never slowed us down, but you have to be a little more cautious or you have to specific.
Preface, because more information is better for everyone.
It is, but I don't care for it. I feel like people should know my heart.
Yeah,
they never.
Everyone should know my heart by hearing my voice on a podcast.
It's my mood ring. They should be able to tell by my fucking mood ring.
That's what the each not album cover, every podcast episode image should be. Just what our mood is that week. It's always green, sometimes a little blue.
Why green? You would be green.
I think that's calm.
I think the only colors I would ever really get into are red, black, and purple.
I think the whole point of a mood ring is for it to not be black.
Mine always is.
Oh man, Steven, you might be dead.
I'm allergic to color. If it just touches my skin, I break out in hives. It's kind of weird. I really think I'm more fascinated or even like obsessed / addicted to color than anyone I know. But I can't stand to see how colors feel on my skin.
Yeah, I
It like
know exactly
really
what you
bothers
mean.
me.
It's like black's just always better. I have some gray stuff and some like browns and neutral colored shit that I like.
When you're feeling super peppy, you put on a gray shirt, and you're like, "Oh my god, I'm really gonna pop today, guys."
Yeah, I do wear blue jeans.
Can't do it. Makes me look like a hippie.
Yeah, I will with my job. I did buy a bunch of like.
You
like
have Boogaloo Boy shirt. You love your Hawaiian shirts.
I do. I very much enjoy them, but
you're
there's
a goth
definitely
kid at heart. But you like your flavor twists of color.
It is very ironic. The crazy colored Hawaiian shirts. In my head, at least, it feels ironic.
Doesn't it distract you? Like any color on my body.
When I'm
out
at
of
work,
my
it doesn't.
vision.
Well, also, I usually have an apron on too, so I don't. I'm never paying attention to what I look like during work. So I'm not. I'm never paying attention to that.
I wouldn't either unless I'm wearing.
When
color.
I'm just chilling, absolutely, it would fuck me up.
Yeah, fair.
I even when I started painting my nails again, I was like, it was just black for a while, and I was like, well, maybe I'll fuck around and try some different colors out. So I picked some different shit out, and I was like, no, I don't like this.
I can do red, but that's it.
I got a gold one I like. I can't do it I don't like it on all of them, but like accents or just on like one of them or something. Yeah, it looks cool.
Got to rizz it up now and again.
Oh man, one of the coolest things I found was that the matte coat.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a good look.
That's that goth boy riz.
Cap on his back. Oh, god damn it.
So next week, we're finally going to dive into criminal prosecution based on art, specifically rap lyrics, which I've been doing a lot of reading on, and I'm very excited. I feel like I have such strong opinions on this.
Yeah, I think we've kind of minorly talked about it for a little bit before. I'd like to hear like either how much that's changed or
I remember when the first case happened. The only reason I remember is because it was one of the last times I used Facebook after for not using it for like a decade. I didn't use it for like 10 years, but it was one of the last times I posted on like my old Facebook was about the first, might not have been the first, but it was like the first publicized case of a rapper being prosecuted for their lyrics. And since then, there's been over 500 prosecutions. So it's exploding.
Yeah, wow.
Right now, there's so many news stories and articles because they're using it specifically for Chicago's drill rap scene. Like they're consistently getting these young drill rappers through their lyrics right now,
which is crazy.
It is.
I mean, the part the part that's wild is that the most wild to me is like so much. I mean, we'll get into this more next week, I'm sure, but so much of hearing rap growing. Most of the rap I listened to growing up was like ICP shit when I was younger, and it's like they talk about killing people all the time, but it was like fictional shit.
Think about I Shot the Sheriff, like Johnny Cash, like so
it's
much
there, but it's fictional. And like you can make shit up to talk about the real life things that you do is wild.
But you have to be a rapper. Like a real rapper today, especially depending on where you're coming from, what niche you're in. Like you can't make up fictional stories if you're a kid in fucking O Block or like in these like certain areas where everybody like there's
like
been.
If you're trying to make that specific type of music, sure, I guess so. But it's like why, like when you do that, knowing that that's what's happening. Knowing that you're going to go, people are actively trying to listen to this to solve actual crimes, and you're giving yourself away when you do it.
To be fair, I think a lot of people don't understand yet because it's finally starting to become kind of common, right? Like it didn't used to be that was the norm. There was an interview with a guy. he was on a jail phone and somebody told him like, hey, you shouldn't say shit over the phone. He's like, I'm rapping. Like, this is a verse, dude. Like, this is my music. And he like thought it was kind of funny that it could even be thought that this could be used as evidence. And it's so wild because the verse he spit was like, I mean, it was shitty, but it was also like the most vague, non-specific, non-incriminating potential bullshit evidence possible. And it was the linchpin in his conviction for murder.
Wow.
So the kind of story that is getting told a lot, right, is that it's related to racism stuff. A lot of people are saying that specifically with Chicago, which in Chicago doesn't really hold up as it might in other places. And then the other aspect of it that I think holds a lot of truth is that it's an easy and lazy way to get quicker convictions with less work. That if they can get the conviction off lyrics alone, they don't have to go through all the money and expense of trying to prove a more difficult case. I think that's a big part of it, because the people that are getting prosecuted are, rappers that look like scum of the earth to most of the justice system.
Right.
So it's easier to bullshit it. I don't know.
We can dive more into that. Yeah,
I want to taster.
I want to save some thoughts for next week on that.
Yeah,
but
I just feel so strongly about freedom of speech and artistic expression. It's just infuriating to me, man. I'm getting fired up over here. I'm getting serious again.
I think the thing that we mentioned about it before was we found that it was like, where do you draw the line at, like, okay, it's freedom of speech, but it doesn't mean that you can just like carte blanche, like commit crimes, but if you rap about it, you're okay. Or if you proclaim that you did it in a piece of artwork, that it can't be used against you. Like if you committed the crime, it doesn't make you immune to being tried for it because you spoke about it through art.
You know what?
That's
I
what
think
we landed
it
on before.
We tested the water, but I think I might be. I might have said it then too. I might be full protected speech if it's an art. What's the disadvantage, realistically? Because the only convictions they're losing out on are people that may have said too much in a lyric and get convicted. Like, in reality, it gives the cops more information.
You say it shouldn't be all of the evidence, right? But if they're like, I hear that and then look into
this place
it
with this gun on this place.
Right, exactly.
I feel like this should be protected. Fuck them.
Well,
if that's not enough information for them to get real evidence, then they don't deserve the conviction.
That's what there should be more evidence. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that at this point,
to say you did something is fine. But if you saying that you did something that you actually did, and then people hear that and they're like, oh, maybe I should look into that, and they're able to like put pieces together that's like, oh no, he's telling the truth. He actually committed this murder or whatever. Then like, yeah.
So out of the 500 plus convictions, I'm sure most of them probably have real evidence involved, but there's still a very large portion that the only other evidence is circumstantial.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah. It's finding out like how many of those people are like wrongfully, convicted and shit, and like
just for writing something. I was listening to fucking Action Bronson, that cheesy song "Ride My Harley into the Sunset."
Yeah,
came on some mix. I'm not like the biggest fan of his, but I'm not even the biggest fan of that song, but I really like it. I really fucking like that song. I hate Harleys. Not a big Sunset guy either. But the idea of, I'm so tan from all the places I've been able to go just from the words of my pen. The wearing very big pants might buy some furniture like that. there's a very like idealized romanticism, and I don't know.
Yeah, his songs, he paints very good pictures.
Vivid, very good imagery and emotional tone. Like that song has so much.
I would also say he's not in my like top 5, probably not in my top 10 of rappers, but as a person, as a creative person, I really do enjoy his work.
Yeah. He's interesting.
Yeah. I like watching him on cooking shit more than I do almost any chef.
Yeah.
Or, you know, not to say that he's not a chef, because he's done his due.
Yeah,
but
definitely. But I think, you know, I used to love rap music so much more than I do now. I mean, I'm still a massive music fan that just doesn't really listen to music. I don't feel music the same way, but most of the most important music in my life has been rap. And part of the reason I love it so much is the idea that from nothing, just a pen and some words, you can set yourself free. And I think that's so beautiful. And it truly upsets me to see also that, you know, words on paper can send you to prison for life now too. I mean, not that hasn't existed in other forms, but I feel like with art or creative expression, that should be protected in some way. And that we'll talk about it more next. I'm getting too into it, but right now there is an act before Congress called the Rap Act that is trying to make some musical protections. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, that is. It's like say it's reminiscent of NWA shit back in the day.
I saw them perform "Fuck the Police" live. This wasn't that long ago. And it was so goofy because the cops, I just was like everything wrong with society and rap music in like a single, like really fun moment. Because they're screaming, "Fuck the police." The crowd's going crazy. The cops are holding the barricades as they're rocking out to the song. Like all the cops loved it. Like it's like funny and like reminiscent of like different old school hip hop, and most of the cops are like digging it, and everyone's like kind of partying, like respecting the cops. And I'm like, this is just so bunk. Like this is like corporate bullshit. It's a massive like rap festival that all these local businesses and huge corporations are all invested in. They're all making money off people buying the tickets. They're paying the cops these awesome hours, I'm sure, to be protecting a concert while a group of people sing "Fuck the Police" and everyone's just jamming out together. It's like so fucking disgusting.
It's like
so stupid.
It's described like a bunch of people having a good time. And
disgusting.
It's disgusting.
Well, think about like when that song came out, what that they were shutting down.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And to go from like that to like fucking iced lemonade tea on fucking Law and Order, and then the cops like protecting your shows and being the ones that I just hate it. You know, it's just like such a, I don't know, such fake shit.
Speaking of iced tea, did you ever listen to Body Count?
It's been a long time, but we've talked about it before.
It's some really wild, like punk metal.
Yeah,
I
don't think I liked it. I thought it was
definitely was. It was. I'm not like a huge fan, but it was definitely like
one of the early fusions.
Yeah, like early fusion, like very different for its time, and in a way that was like in the era I can imagine was like wild to people.
Mm-hmm. I've been listening to a little bit of Snarky Puppy, a little bit of Naked City, a little bit of who's the other one? A little bit of Mr. Bungle, but I don't know, man. I can't feel music the same way anymore. It's just the clowncore stuff, some of that.
Clowncore stuff, man, that was almost unlistenable. How do you listen to that?
Almost. Some of it is a lot more melodic than others, but yeah, most of it is. I mean, Naked City is almost entirely unlistenable, but that kind of speaks to how little I'm listening to, because I just can't feel it, man.
If you've been listening to Snarky Puppy lately, I might be able to get you into this band I just found not too long ago, called Return to Forever.
Okay.
It's like this jazz fusion band, like jazz rock band from I think they were from the 70s. And they have this album called Romantic Warrior.
Okay. You may have mentioned this at some point.
I might have. There's a song, one of the songs is like a 11-minute song called The Duel of the Jester and the Tyrant. And it just came on my one of my Amazon radio things for one of my other bands I listen to. And it's like such a jam. It's just very like good, like well played instrumental shit. It's really good. I love instrumental music so fucking much.
Is it more jazz or more rock?
More jazz, okay. But it's like progressive.
Yeah.
It's very like evolves in its way, and it's like goes off on the weird tangents. You could listen to this album and think like this came out a couple years
10
ago.
Years ago, yeah. That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Very cool, very before its time. I can't believe I'm just now hearing about it. It reminds me a lot of Buckethead.
Interesting. John's actually working on something right now I think you'd like a lot because he's finally listening to me. He'll laugh when he hears this. But he's doing a lot more time change ups, like going from 4/4 to 3/3.
Oh, cool.
And like in the Alien song, that speed ramp, he's playing with like, it's like a 4/4 to 3/4 to 4/4 to speed ramp, like twisting shit up. Really interesting.
I only just within the last couple of years realized that a lot of my favorite songs are like bands that I like do that a lot. Yeah, my recognition of that. Yeah, my recognition of time signature changes and shit is like I don't hear it like that when I listen to music. I'm not like in tune with it like that. But I realize that like that's what a lot of the bands I like just they do that on a regular basis. They're like known amongst other musicians for fucking around with time signatures and shit.
To be honest, I'm not quite music nerd knowledgeable enough to like fully say like the 4/4 to 3/4 always like sets it off for me. But for me, the big thing is like I don't understand why, like if you see a punk band, specifically punk for sure, but metal bands too, even if the song doesn't change in structure, if it's like a crazy concert, you notice over time, like the drums start picking up a little too fast. Things get slightly out of sync. That is like a natural progression of energy and momentum in a live performance. And electronic music and other different genre bending stuff, when it's intentionally put into double time or like a sound shifts, things speed up way too quick. That is an energy that you can't ever touch when you're staying in a steady 4x4, like, cause then let's say the guitars have to do all the work when the drums stay in the same pace, or you just have extra drum notes in between. It doesn't have that same feeling of anxiety and like panic and excitement as when everything speeds up faster than it's supposed to. Mm-hmm. And that's such a invigorating thing that is not happening enough. It's like it's always looked at as a gimmick and like a throwaway, or like, oh, this was cool on this one track, but it's not something that's played with often, where things are speeding up or slowing down, pulling in, stretching out. I need more like fluidity and breath in those sounds.
Yeah, it really, I think progressive music in general does weird shit like on like by design. That's kind of like what makes it progressive, right? Is like it fucks around with weird shit and builds on itself and like plays with its,
plays expectations.
It plays with itself. Yeah,
it masturbates all over itself.
Yeah, it's subverting expectations and shit like that. Like that's such a huge part of it. Like, oh yeah, that's one of the reasons I like Rush so much is like they fuck around and do goofy shit.
I'm gonna ignore you said that.
Oh man, I gotta get you more on Rush, man. I mean,
what a baseline, stale, tan-colored band.
Oh, go fuck yourself.
To use it as an example of inverting expectations. 40 years ago.
I mean, they stopped only because the fucking Neil Peart died, but
died of boredom from writing another Rush song.
They I do want to send you some of their instrumental bits, especially.
I'm sure
I can get where people most of the argument I hear about Rush is like, I don't like his voice, and it's like, all right,
just the vocal.
Fine.
I can't hear anything. I don't even want to try to listen to anything as soon as I hear his fucking ugly voice.
Yeah, and that, you know what, I'm not crazy about Geddy Lee's voice either. The words, the lyrics are almost always very good, but the instrumental works are definitely my favorites.
I don't doubt you. I'm sure they do cool stuff. Well,
is that enough? Is that enough for an episode? Did we talk long enough?
Definitely enough. We wanted it to be short because we got a little homework to do for next week. So, guys, we had our, I'll just say real quick, we had our best month last month. A lot of people listening to older stuff, which is really cool. And I don't know, I always think it's funny, like pretty much anyone that listens, they indirectly or directly probably know us. Like there's definitely a handful of strangers or like total internet anonymous people. There's definitely a decent amount, but most of us listening are somehow interconnected. And the fact that they stayed listening, whether it's either entertainment or just for support, super appreciated. And we, everyone wants their projects to be super successful, but that was never our primary intention. And we've still managed to grow very, very slowly but steady. And it's really cool to have, a fair, modest amount of people listening. And this last month was our best. So thank you guys. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, seriously. Having people, I remember the first time I think we realized that we couldn't account for the people that we know that listen to the show.
It's like somebody else must have listened. Like
somebody that we don't know listened to this, and it was exciting and almost a little terrifying. Like, oh shit, somebody actually found us and listened to it. So yeah, it's very cool. It's a very fun feeling though. When you see the numbers of people that grow and they're like, oh shit, we're making a reach a little bit. People are actually, listening to it. And then that's the one, they listen to it and then they listen to the next episode and it's like, oh shit, that's a very cool feeling.
We hook these suckers.
Yeah, we fucking hook, line, and sinker. They're only a month away from buying Banquet frozen meals.
Living off fast food and adopting street cats. Yeah, so thank you guys, and we'll keep it up one way or another. We're gonna keep it moving. So
fuck yeah. So seriously, thanks again for listening, everybody. Thank you to Approaching Human for the use of his music. You can find his work on SoundCloud at Approaching-Human.
Thanks, John. Always. I don't know what I was gonna say. Always. Thanks, John. Always.
Thanks, John. Always. Make sure to check out the show page at Trashcast on Instagram for news and arts from the show. Check out Facebook for the memes.
If you're super bored, you can check out my trashy art on Instagram at Skyzix, SKYZXX. It's been slow as ever, and to be frank, it's probably going to stay slow on art stuff, but it's never stopping. It's always steady, and
you just put out a new piece this week.
I know, but it's taking me 2 weeks at a time. Right now, it's just, I have so little time. But I'm never stopping, always working on art. So, it's always something coming. And, next week, cool stuff, rap lyric, legal convictions, and more fun stuff on the way.
Fuck yeah. That's going to be all for us today. Stay classy, eat trashy.
Go fast, eat trash.